यशोदानन्दन भज जनरञ्जना यशोदानन्दन भज जनरञ्जना यशोदातीरा मातीरा वनचारी यमुना यमुना तीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी जय माधवा कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी यशोदानन्दन भज जनरञ्जना यशोदानन्दन भज जनरञ्जना यमुना तीरा वनचारी हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्रजाचार्य अष्टोत्तर सदस्य श्रीमद अभय चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्रजाचार्य अष्टोत्तर सदस्य श्रीमद भक्ति सिद्धार्थ सरस्वती गोस्वामी महाराज श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्त वृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। व्रजभूमि श्री वृंदावन धाम की जय। मायापुर श्री नवद्वीप धाम की जय। मथुरा धाम की जय। द्वारका धाम की जय। जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय। गंगा माई यमुना माई की जय। भक्ति देवी तुलसी महारानी की जय। समवेत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। गौर भक्त प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories, all glories, all glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Jai Shri Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki. Hari Om Tat Sat. Hare Krishna devotees, welcome for ISKCON Seshadripuram's morning Srimad Bhagavatam class. Today we will be discussing 4th canto. Just share the screen. 4th canto, 13th chapter, 23rd and 24th verse. Let me read the 23rd verse. Navadyeyaha prajapalaha prajabir agavan api yad asau loka palanam Bibharti ojah swa tejasa. Word by word meaning. Na, never. Avadyeya, avadyeyaha, to be insulted. Prajapalaha, the king. Prajabihi, by the citizens. Agavan, ever sinful. Api, even though. Yat, because. Asau, he. Lokapalanam, of many kings. Bibharti, maintains. Ojaha, prowess. Swa tejasa, by personal influence. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. It is the duty of all citizens in a state never to insult the king, even though he sometimes appears to have done something very sinful. Because of his prowess, the king is always more influential than all other ruling chiefs. Purport. According to Vedic civilization, the king is supposed to be the representative of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is called Nara Narayana, indicating that Narayana, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, appears in human society as the king. It is etiquette that neither a Brahmana nor a Kshatriya king is ever insulted by the citizens. Even though a king appears to be sinful, the citizens should not insult him. But in the case of Vena, it appears that he was cursed by the Nara Devatas. Therefore, it was concluded that his sinful activities were very grievous. We'll see the next verse. Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th canto, 13th chapter, 24th verse. Etad akyahi me brahman sunitat maja chetitam cheshtitam Shraddha Naya Bhaktaya Tvam Paravara Vittamaha. Word by word meaning. Yetat, all these. Akyahi, please describe. Me, unto me. Brahman, O great Brahmana. Sunita Atmaja, of the son of Sunita Vena. Cheshtitam, activities. Shraddha Naya, faithful. Bhaktya, unto your devotee. Tvam, you. Paro, avara, with past and future. With tamaha, well conversant. Translation. Vidura requested Maitreya, my dear Brahmana, You are well conversant with all subjects, both past and future. Therefore, I wish to hear from you all the activities of King Vena. I am your faithful devotee. So please explain this. Purport. Vidura accepted Maitreya as his spiritual master. A disciple always inquires from the spiritual master, and the spiritual master answers the question provided the disciple is very gentle and devoted. Srila Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakura said that by the mercy of the spiritual master, one is blessed with the mercy of the Supreme Lord. The spiritual master is not inclined to disclose all the secrets of transcendental science unless the disciple is very submissive and devoted. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita, the process of receiving knowledge from the spiritual master entails submission, enquiry, and service. Om Agyana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadanti Swa Padantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tamsa Jivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vranda Vareshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesa Sunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabho Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaurabhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Hari Om Tat Sat. So today we are discussing this chapter called Description of the Descendants of Dhruva Maharaja. So I remember I was taking even last Thursday class. So we were talking about the son of Dhruva Maharaja, Utkala, and there we discussed that Prabhupada called him a Maga Bhagavata. So he was not, even though he was supposed to take over the kingdom after Dhruva Maharaja left to the forest. After 36,000 years, Dhruva Maharaja renounced his, his chair, and then his son was supposed to take over. So Utkala was the elder son, and therefore he was to take over the reins from his father. But since he was a self-realized person right from his childhood, he was looking at the whole creation and everything as in completely aligned to the Paramatma, and he was looking at everything as equipoised, and therefore Prabhupada is saying that he is a Maha Bhagavata and he was not interested in the throne. So we discussed that elaborately, and subsequent verses what I saw was therefore he was more in a way, maybe he projected himself to be some kind of a very dull madman kind of a thing, and therefore a king, when you decide who's going to be the king, generally the perception, at least these people perceived him to be mad, but he was actually a Maga Bhagavata that we already saw, because he was disinterested. He did not want to take on those responsibilities. Rather, he wanted to go forward with the self-realization objective. So there is also Jadabharata. Once, we would have heard the story that Jadabharata also acted like that, like a madman who was not in his senses. So that he is not disturbed from other people, and he is not somewhere getting attracted to the material activity. So he wanted to keep aloof, and then a king who was passing by actually uses him as a palanquin bearer, and as he was walking Then I think there was some like ants and all that. And every time he comes across something, he stopped and, he created a lot of disturbance in the movement of the kings, this one. And the king got very angry and he started chastising him. You can't even do this job properly. What are you? Then he started talking a few things which started spiritual realizations. And then the king became very engrossed and he heard a lot of these things. Then he understood that he is not a madman, but is a very, very realized person. And he took apology that he actually used him as a palanquin bearer, like this. So same thing here. Even though he is a great personality, externally he looked like a madman, and as a result, the family and all the priestly class who are actually guiding the kings, they decided that he is not fit to be a king, and therefore they had his brother as the, what do you call, the next king. So generally there is qualification, right? To be a king according to these whatever, the science of politics. So you will also see when the Pandavas, like, so when Dhritarashtra was there, then his younger brother Pandu was there. So normally it is Dhritarashtra who's the elder brother who's supposed to become the king. So it was his right as per the, what do you call, the science of politics, the tradition of how it is to be done. But unfortunately, because he was blind, so the qualification was taken away from him, that he is no more qualified to be the king of the land. So as a result of that, his brother Pandu became the king. And he did not accept that wordings of the, what do you call, the principles of uh, the Kshatriya principles, and how the nomination of the king should happen and all that, which is actually the science, which is the Bible, or which is the what do you call, the dictionary of how a country has to be governed. And somehow he was, even though he allowed his brother to take over, but internally he was very envious. Oh, how come it is actually my throne? And how come that my brother is ruling? And at least he was thinking, at least after me, let my sons get it. Why should my brother's sons get it? But once that his brother became the king, then that continues, that tradition continues. It cannot be that you are a substitute. Only in cricket matches you have substitutes. Here there is nothing called a substitute. If you are not qualified, the next person becomes the actual authorized king, and then that lineage of his son should become the king. So therefore the Pandavas were qualified to become the kings, but here this Dhritarashtra was planning, no, I was unqualified, so be it, but my sons should now get that kingdom. So that is how the entire Mahabharata happened. The war happened, everything. So in this case also we are seeing the people perceived the elder brother as not capable for ruling, and they looked at him as a madman, like that, and as a result he was not given the kingdom. And of course in this case he was not very unhappy or something like that, he was happy. And then the description goes on about the next, his brother and his children and his children, like that. And there is no Mahabharata story where Utkala's children or someone want to take over. Nothing is that is described. So in the process, what happens is there is one righteous king for him. A very, very demoniac son was born, and his name was Veda. And this Veda was so cruel, so bad, that even the Brahmanas of that kingdom, who are the advisors of that kingdom, could not tolerate. So they killed him by very powerful mantras. So sometimes we think the Brahmanas are very weak persons and all that, but Brahmanas are very powerful. By their words, they are like powerful weapons. Because of the purity of their consciousness, their words are very powerful. So when a Brahmana curses, he need not have any big weapons. By a curse, he can kill a person. So we also saw the curse of a Brahmana boy, which is in a way, is one of the instrumental things for Srimad Bhagavatam to come up, right? We have seen this when Parikshit Maharaj, when he went into the forest hunting, which is allowed for the Kshatriya to practice his skill of, warfare of attacking and killing living entities. So he was doing that, and at that time he was feeling thirsty. He went to a forest. He went to one of the ashrams around there where a Muni was, Brahmana was doing penance, and he wanted water. So he asked him, but he was deep in his meditation, and therefore he felt bad. Then how come I am such a great king and I have come here, and this Brahmana is not even recognizing my presence. So he took a dead snake from there and put it on his neck. As a result, you know, it was perceived as an insult by his son, who comes later and sees that his father is meditating and he's having a dead skin or a dead snake as a garland kind of a thing. And the boy didn't even know who did it, but because he was a Brahmana boy who's, when you say Brahmana boy, it is not that, he would have accumulated all that powers over many births. Therefore he was born in a Brahmana family. Those days, Brahmana families or Brahmanas are very, very powerful. Today, that's why it's mentioned in Kali Shudra Sambhavaha. So Kali, everyone is by nature or by birth, whatever we have, our own definition is actually a Shudra. So there is no power of the Brahmana in his words or in his deeds or whatever, but at least those days it had. So the boy, who was simply a young man, but still when he saw this insult to his father, without even knowing who he was, he cursed, saying, whoever did this to my father, he will die in 7 days. So this is a very powerful curse. It's like, sending a Brahmastra to one person specifically to kill him. Right? Think of you trying to shoot someone sitting somewhere. The arrow will, the bullet will go wherever and then hit that one particular person. This is all amazing. So this mantra is so powerful. So he cursed, and as a result, Parikshit Maharaj had to leave his body within 7 days. So the point here is these Brahmanas are very powerful. So this Veda, even though he is such a demon or whatever, these Brahmanas are, in one sense, if you see, very powerless because they don't have weapons and all that. But never take Brahmanas for granted. They are most powerful. And therefore they said, okay, this is not going anywhere and it is creating so much confusion and chaos in the society, a lot of hardships to the people. Therefore, let us finish him off. And even if you earlier saw, there is this, when Rama and Vishwamitra Muni. So Vishwamitra Muni took Lord Rama to help in that yajna that he wanted to do, and these demons, who are basically associates of Ravana, they were coming to distract or disturb his parents. So Vishwamitra did not actually need some security to help him do these things. It's not that he needed. He was personally very much capable of killing all those Rakshasas. So if you see, when Lord Rama was taken, and there will be so many demons on the way, they will come. And Vishwamitra knew all the signs of how to kill them, what it is. So he will teach Rama, you do like this, you do like this. Why can't you yourself do it? He's very much capable of doing it. But he took Rama for a purpose. Because Rama was a Kshatriya, and of course he is Lord himself, and Vishwamitra knew it, and he wanted exclusive darshan of Rama just for himself. There's some verses in Ramayana, in Valmiki Ramayana, it's mentioned like that. That Vishwamitra wanted to exclusively worship Lord Rama. I don't want any disturbance, so let me take him into a forest and just keep looking at his beautiful face and, having exclusively Rama to myself for some time. This was his mood. And so he took him there, even though he personally can actually finish off all the demoniac persons. So these Brahmanas are very powerful. The Munis are very powerful. So they decided, okay, this Veda is of no use. So let's finish him off. So they finish him off. And these verses are coming in that context where in this verse is saying, it is the duty of all citizens in a state never to insult a king, even though he sometimes appears to have done something very sinful. Because of his prowess, the king is always more influential than all other ruling chiefs. This is our shloka. In that, Prabhupada writes, according to Vedic civilization, king is supposed to be the representative of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, Vena, even though he was very abominable, he's supposed to be treated like a king, Nara Narayana. There we know, right, in Bhagavad Gita, there is in 10th chapter, Krishna is saying how all he can be seen for a common man. So in that, there is a verse in 10th chapter where it goes like this, which says is Uchishravasam Ashvanam Viddimam Amruto Bhavam Airavatam Gajendranam Naranam Cha Naranam Cha Naradipam. Naranam Cha Naradipam is the point that was I was trying to bring. That means of all the men, Nara means man. Of all the men, Naradipam is I am the monarch. So there may be many men, many powerful men, many chieftains, everything. But Krishna is understood to be the person who is the monarch is supposed to be empowered by Krishna, or in other words, as a representative of Krishna. And therefore, the praja should respect that person as Krishna himself. So sometimes there may be some, the person may not be very perfect in some ways or whatever, but they don't criticize. Oh, you are like this, how can you be a representative of Krishna, whatever. That is not our job. So that is the arrangement of the Lord, and sometimes such discrepancies in the king may be there. Even that may be a kind of the Lord's wish, and therefore that king is behaving like that. Therefore, we should not be unnecessarily getting into this thing of criticizing the king. But in this case, so you can see many a times such kings are tolerated. So in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, right, just like the changing weather and heat and cold, you learn to tolerate. So the prajas, that in a way helps them to improve their Krishna consciousness. Oh, my king is like this, what can I do? Let me tolerate and progress in my devotional service. Progress in my science of self-realization, rather than trying to see how I can become more and more bodily comfortable, whatever we call standard of living. The kings generally gives nice standard of living to the people, gives protection, everything. Therefore, oh, this is not there, that is not there, what I can do. So you take it as, okay, these things will also pass, but I need to focus on my devotional life. So the prajas should be like that, not that they should start criticizing the king. At least, in general, there are situations where it is done differently. Like the Lord himself comes and kills a lot of kings. For example, Parashuram. So if all the kings are representative of Krishna, then why did Krishna himself, as an incarnation of Parasuram, went and killed all the kingly persons? For that, if you go and see Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada is writing, kings like Maharaja Yudhishthira, Maharaja Parikshit and Lord Rama were all highly righteous kings who always thought of the citizens' welfare. So that is how the kings are supposed to be. But sometimes when the kings completely become, in this case like Vena, or the kings that were killed by our Parashuram, they have completely gone against the Vedic system, and therefore they cannot anymore be considered as representative of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In that context, Prabhupada is writing, in Vedic literature, the king is considered to be the representative of God. In this age, however, with the corruption of the principles of religion, monarchy decayed and is now finally abolished. It is to be understood that in the past, however, people were more happy under righteous kings. So therefore, even in the past, there have been kings who are not righteous, who are not religious, and therefore they lose the right to become the representative of Narayana. And therefore, Parashuram killed them. And in this case, the Brahmanas considered it right that they kill Veda. So that was this particular verse what we were seeing. 1 minute, let me So that is the first verse. Now let's try and see the next verse. So there the translation is, Vidura requested Maitreya, my dear Brahmana, you are well conversant with all subjects, both past and future. Therefore, I wish to hear from you all the activities of King Vena. I am your faithful devotee, so please explain this. So here Prabhupada writes nice strong commentary about the disciplic succession, how the guru has to be viewed, and in what circumstances a spiritual master imparts knowledge to the disciple. This verse is very important. Uh, and we all know that one cannot simply by speculation try to understand Krishna. It's very, very clear that you can. Yesterday also I was giving some class or reading, I don't remember, where I was going through Prabhupada's verses in Bhagavad Gita. There he was saying that you cannot attain Krishna by your own whatever sacrifices or your understanding of the Vedic scriptures. Yeah, so this was in the 11th chapter, I think, 11th chapter, universal form. So there Krishna is personally saying that not by your knowledge of the Vedic scriptures, not by your austerities, uh, not by your austerities, not by your Vedic knowledge. Something else also he mentions, not by your charity that you can understand me. Then the next verse he says, only by devotional service you can understand me. So, and there Prabhupada writes very clearly that devotional service to Krishna cannot be simply speculative. The scriptures have to be understood under the guidance of the spiritual master. Even though the scriptures are available, yeah, we can read it, no problem. But that doesn't mean we can understand. Krishna may be personally present in front of us, but we will not be able to see Krishna as is. We will think he is an ordinary person, which is what the whole world is doing. If you see 99% of the population, whoever is considering existence of God, who are not atheists, those people consider Krishna in an impersonal kind of a thing. So they don't give importance to the form Krishna. They are saying, okay, Krishna is also one of the manifestation. There are every manifestation. So I am also one such manifestation. That is how they think. So these people are there. They are not able to understand Krishna. So how to understand Krishna as is? So I was thinking at that time, like in India, all of us were know Krishna. We know all the other, many celebrated gods. And we were all worshipping everyone, right? So we were also doing nice Janmashtami, we were fasting, so many things were happening when we were before coming to Krishna consciousness. But only after coming to Krishna consciousness, our understanding or our seeing Krishna has become much more clearer. Why is that so? So if you really see, we knew, anybody in India knows about Krishna, even when you're a child, you know. So what is that knowing versus what is today's knowing? There is a huge difference. Today, when we say or think about the same Krishna, our love and affection is manifold. But earlier also we knew Krishna was God. But our understanding was incorrect. Why? That is because of the understanding through the proper Acharya disciplic succession. Then the thing gets revealed to us. That is being mentioned. Therefore, here Vidura accepted Maitreya as the spiritual master, surrendered to Maitreya, and he is saying, I am your devotee. If you see the word, he is using that word, I am your devotee. So, and Prabhupada writes, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura said that by the mercy of the spiritual master, one is blessed with the mercy of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, without the mercy of the Supreme Lord, mercy of the spiritual master, there is no mercy of the Supreme Lord. So if we tend to, use the spiritual master as a kind of, chapa, then there is no way we can actually come to this point of pure devotional service. There is one occasion where I saw there was a thing. So Prabhupada initiated many disciples. So there were some people who were simply acting like managers only. So they were doing more because ISKCON is becoming a bigger and bigger organization. And there are more people required to man different positions. Some will become temple president, some will become, temple commander, this, that, leader of so many different ways. But then if you really see, a lot of them were more keen about becoming leaders, becoming this one, but not following Srila Prabhupada, what his teachings are like that. So there, somewhere, someone asked him, this guy is behaving like this. Prabhupada said, yes, I am aware that he's like that. Then he says something which was very, very, it was revealing to me at that time. Yes, there are many people I initiate, but not all of them are my disciples. That's a very big statement. So I may be initiated by my spiritual master, but that doesn't mean I become a disciple. I am not a disciple as long as I don't follow his instructions, taking it to my heart and trying to follow. Prabhupada uses the word try. So sometimes there is discrepancy. You try, there is some mistakes which happen. But we need to come back to the correct path as quickly as possible. So that is there. And Prabhupada also says, yes, if you made a mistake, it's okay. You tell me, and I forgive you. Once I forgive, twice I forgive, third time I don't forgive you. This is all Prabhupada's words. So the disciples may go wrong. That's okay. But the intention should be very clear that I should not cross the line. And I should try to adhere and follow my spiritual master's instructions clearly. If we are not in that mood, but if you are simply that, okay, now I am initiated, I am a disciple, and therefore I have a right to go back to Godhead because my spiritual master is pure. I don't need to go back. I don't need to do anything. Some Maharaj was used to give a lot of like comical kind of thing. Someone keeps saying, do you read books? No, I am initiated. Do you chant? No, I am initiated. Do you do some service? No, I am initiated. So their understanding is if you are initiated, you will go back to Godhead. You don't need to do anything. But the point is, if you are initiated, that is okay. But that does not mean that we can go back to Godhead. One needs to follow the spiritual master. And when that is happening, then the Supreme Lord's mercy is coming. And Prabhupada continues to write, the spiritual master is not inclined to disclose all the secrets of transcendental service unless the disciple is very submissive and devoted. So what does this mean? Just because I have become a disciple, that doesn't mean the spiritual master has to shower all his mercy on me. Prabhupada is so merciful like that. Prabhupada's disciples are so merciful. I mean, they don't look, okay, is the person, very much inclined, then I will, share all the spiritual knowledge. Now today, if you see, Prabhupada wrote everything out, including his morning conversation. He did not hide anything to everybody. Whoever, whether they are real followers of me or not, I am giving it to them, everything I am revealing. Of course, it's all two ways, right? Even if I read it, I will not be able to understand because I am not simply having the mood to follow my spiritual master. But they are very merciful today. Every spiritual master in our parampara is accessible. Physical is one thing. Yes, most of them we are able to access physically, but sometimes it's not physically possible also. But every day we can associate because they have used all the medium to reach out to us. So you have Facebook, you have Instagram, you have so many YouTube. So the spiritual master is directly available inside our home, inside our heart, everywhere he can be present physically. I mean, he can be present literally. But unless I take that seriously, I cannot progress. And it is said that here this word is used is disciple is very submissive and devoted. So one should be very chaste to the spiritual master. If I am not chaste, devoted, chaste, there are different words we use. That means I should give exclusivity to my spiritual master in terms of, devoted. Like, many people take so many people as spiritual masters. Yeah, we can have Siksha Gurus. We know this in our parapara, but outside, if you see people, everybody is Guru. Oh, they will say, oh, I learned this from him, he is my Guru, which is fine. But then the initiating spiritual master is important. And once someone accepts initiating spiritual master, that position is very exclusive. So, and that devotion to that spiritual master has to be there, like should be treated like Krishna himself. There are many of these things. And in Bhagavad Gita it is mentioned, how do you understand, how do you get knowledge. There, Krishna is saying, Tadviti pradipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshakti te jnanam jnanina tattva darshinaha. There, first one there is submissively inquire from him, render service unto him. These are the important words. And here also is mentioned, disciple is very submissive and devoted. If one is like that, then the spiritual master uh, gives that, discloses all the secrets of transcendental science. And through that process, one can come to this platform of pure devotional service, or in other words, come to the platform of understanding the self and understanding our position, the true nature and position in reality in relation to the Lord as the, what you call as the part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and a eternal servant of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and maybe even our, how, in what position are we serving? So is it as a friend or as a servant or as a parental, this one, or in neutral, or whether it is in a conjugal relationship. So all of these things are revealed as we dedicate ourselves to the Acharya in the Parampara, then to the spiritual master. In our case, to Srila Prabhupada. He is the Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada is the what do you call, founder Acharya, and he is the Siksha Guru for everyone in ISKCON. And we learn from Srila Prabhupada, and we also have our spiritual master. That is the proper understanding. And we are also devoted to our spiritual master. But as an organization under the umbrella of the Acharya, we are all bowing down and surrendering to the Acharya who is Srila Prabhupada. And that's the context where Prabhupada said, you all together, be together united in ISKCON and serve this moment. And all his disciples who are our spiritual masters today are also in the same mood, that we are all serving Srila Prabhupada, and we need to, in a very, what do you call, in a very cooperative manner, serve Srila Prabhupada. And their mood is like that. And we serve our spiritual master in his service to Srila Prabhupada. And every spiritual master is actually serving Srila Prabhupada. So the goal is same. Every spiritual master under our ISKCON Parampara, their goal is same, to please and serve Srila Prabhupada. And therefore our goal is also the same. I may be a disciple of one spiritual master, someone else may be someone else. But our ultimate goal is also to serve Srila Prabhupada's mission, whose goal is to serve his spiritual master, ultimately serve Radharani and Krishna. So this is our motive, and it is very nicely facilitated by Srila Prabhupada, and we can all actually take to this process and perfectly execute this. There is no difficulty. Last line also Prabhupada is writing. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita, the process of receiving knowledge from the spiritual master entails submission, inquiry, and service. So these three are needed. So if we are saying, okay, I am part of this movement called ISKCON, ISKCON is a preaching movement. ISKCON is not simply, okay, I got this knowledge, now let me sit in one corner and just try to personally, only by myself, practice Krishna consciousness. So this is, we are all, my spiritual master Swalna Jayapataka Maharaj used to say, we are all Goshti Anandi. Therefore, there is the other one, what is that called? It is Bhajananandi. Bhajananandi means self-practice. Only you go to a forest and simply sit and practice devotional, practice self-realization. But Goshti Anandi is, we are more interested to practice Krishna consciousness as a group, and we encourage and motivate everyone, and we take everybody along, and we also go and give this Krishna consciousness to many people. So that is very important. So this service is basically, in this moment, it is about preaching the message of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And as we preach, we became more and more closer to our spiritual master, because I'm talking our parampara, everywhere else also, that the spiritual master is pleased when we actually do devotional service by properly following the regulative principles of chanting 16 rounds, following 4 regulative principles, and along with that, preach nicely. All the spiritual master under the umbrella of Srila Prabhupada, having this one think as very special. So that is the biggest service they expect. Many a times, Jayapatak Maharaj, my spiritual master, says, "What service can I do? Go and preach, go and preach, go and preach." So I this one small pastime. There is no one time in time one devotee was very very bad, feeling very bad, and he goes to Jayapatak Maharaj and says, he spends a lot of time saying, I have got into so many nonsense in my life, so I am now sort of very sinful, very bad, and so many negative things. After initiation also, I am not in a very good state, so I am much fallen now. So he was dejected and he was expressing his agony of not able to be like nice and all that. Jayapatak Maharaj just told him one thing: if you want to rectify all of these things and if you want to get over all these sinful things, go and preach. You know, he gave that instruction: go and preach. So if you preach, then that is pleasing to the spiritual master. Go and give this knowledge of things. Krishna also says, anyone who is preaching about my message to my devotees is very dear to me. So this is our role, that we need to think how we can do. Of course, we need to practice and we need to also preach. So I mean, it's a lot of things that but very simple things. So if we are serious about devotional service, we need to accept a spiritual master and take his word seriously, follow his instructions seriously, sincerely try to follow his instructions, and then we can go back to Godhead. So I end here. If there are any questions or comments, welcome. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thanks for the wonderful classification. Prabhuji, here in the purport, it said that Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur said that by mercy of the spiritual master, one is blessed with the mercy of the Supreme Lord.
Yes.
So, is it only with the mercy of the spiritual master is one is blessed with the Supreme Lord, Prabhuji? The mercy of
Yes,
Supreme
Prabhu. So that is actually a fact. Because as I
Lord.
said, right, even earlier, he says, from even Bhagavad Gita, 11th chapter, I was reading, not by your, trying to become an expert in your Vedic, in the understanding of the scriptures. Like if you are a very exponent in Vedas, you have studied Vedas by yourself very nicely, and you are doing great charity, you are doing this, that, and all that. No, you can do so many things which are defined as a spiritual activity. But those can happen, but we cannot directly try to please Krishna. The qualification is, how can I do that, is by surrendering to a spiritual master. And spiritual master is the representative of Krishna. And unless we are able to surrender to the representative of Krishna, how can we directly surrender to Krishna? It's not, Krishna is not accessible so easily. I may think, oh, I am doing great devotional service, but Krishna is not bound to accept us like that. He doesn't, when I say he doesn't care, it's not like he doesn't care. But he actually wanted this system to be implemented, that people come through my pure devotees. So that is his choice, that he is saying, okay, if you want to come to me, follow my pure devotees. So that is there. There are many such amazing things where there is in Kanchi, there was one Vardarajar Perumal temple, very famous temple. So there was one person called Kanchi Purna. So he used to actually talk to the deity directly. So there used to be a nice conversation every day. He will go and do Chamara service, and then he will talk to the deity, and the deity will talk back to him. So under these circumstances, he thought, okay, I am eligible now. I am already talking to the deity. I will go back to Godhead. So he was thinking like that, but one day he got that knowledge, because there is someone who will come and say, no, can you find out, talk to the Lord and ask me, tell me when I will go back to Godhead. So he will say, okay, I will check. So he goes and does service there. And when he's doing service, he asks Vardaraja, this person asked me when he will go back to Godhead. So the Lord said, yeah, he will go back at the end of this life. So then when he came out, he told this man he was very happy. He was a very simpleton. He asked, oh, nice, thank you very much. Did you ask for yourself like that? No, ask for myself. I am talking to the Lord. What is the problem for me going back? But then this became a big doubt, and I said, oh, he told me this. I need to know, make sure that this is correct. My thinking is correct. So next day he goes and asks Vardaraja, Vardaraja, I want to ask you a question. Yes, please. You know, yesterday I asked about that gentleman and you said he will go back to Godhead. How about me? When will I go back to come to you? He said, you will not come to me. What? I'm serving you so nicely. No, you are serving me. I'm talking to you. That is all. You know, you did some service. I do. No, I don't talk to everybody else. Whoever comes and sees me, I'm talking to you. So these two things are neutralized. So you don't expect to come back and all that. Then he says, why? But how come that man doesn't do any service? He says, no, he has accepted you as the spiritual master and he is taking instructions from you how to go back. And therefore he is qualified. Who's your spiritual master? Vardaraja asks him. Then he thinks, oh, I don't have a spiritual master. I am trying to directly approach Krishna. And therefore he then immediately, goes to actually Ramanujacharya's spiritual master. He goes to him and then there he surrenders and then he gets qualification to go back to Godhead. So there are many things like this that we have to accept. There may be some rare cases which can happen, but by the general rule is we can get the mercy of Krishna through the mercy of the spiritual master. So pure devotees, if you are able to please pure devotees, they accept us and then they give us that mercy of Krishna. Is that okay, Prabhu?
Yeah. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you. Very clear, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Danda Pranam, Prabhuji. Jai.
Hare Krishna. So I end here. Thank you for giving your time and patient listening. Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gurudev ki jai.